President Trump earlier on his latest round of letters to foreign countries that he's been sending out, letting them know the tariff rates they're going to face if they don't reach a trade deal. Those rates, he says, will take effect on August 1st. Now, Wall Street taking the whole thing in stride. Stocks ending again today in the green. S&P rebounding from a couple of days of losses, but they weren't huge losses, up by 0.5% today or a little more. John Najarian joins us, co-founder of Market Rebellion. Good to see you, John. Why the market is just saying, I don't really care about this at the moment. I'm good with whatever's going on, and we're going to keep on keeping on. What's behind it?
Well, I think anybody that did dump out of the market back in March and April was certainly shocked to see how quickly the market came back. And obviously, there's a real desire for many of these stocks, not just tech, although once again, NVIDIA becoming a $4 trillion monster today, that helped drive the S&P and markets in general. But it's different stocks every day, and there's a lot of mergers and acquisitions going on as well.
Yeah, the Journal has a report tonight that Ferrero, the Italian candy company, is nearing a deal, I guess $3 billion range, they say, to buy Kellogg. So that's Fruit Loops, right? Frosted Flakes for all you cereal fans. So you like the environment for deals at this stage?
Yeah, I do. And I think consolidation is something that you see happening when people think that there's value that they can unlock. This is an Italian company coming in to buy Kellogg's. It's not just cereal. I know you know that, but it's Pop-Tarts. It's all this snack foods as well. And this really expands the Ferrero brand into a lot of different areas, breakfast and, of course, that snack stuff. But it's one of many. I mean, AES, which is a power generation company, Bloomberg reported this morning that they're on the block and that people are circling for that one. So we are seeing a ton of deals this year, Connell, and I think that really says a lot about what people think of the economy, what those big bankers that write those big checks so that these guys can make those purchases, what they think of the economy.
Some optimism, yeah. Let me go back to AI for a second. You're right, NVIDIA, that headline, $4 trillion company. It comes on the same day that the CEO of X stepped down, not necessarily directly related to AI. Linda Yaccarino's leaving Elon Musk's company, but a day after there was this big AI snafu at X, right? That the AI chatbot there, Grok, which a lot of us use, and it's been getting better and better, I think. I think they're coming out today with the next version. It all of a sudden starts putting out these like anti-Semitic tropes. It was a real disaster. And it kind of brings up, I just thought the juxtaposition of the whole thing is interesting because you have, again, NVIDIA is a bet on the future. AI, this is where it's at. And we know this is where it's at. But then you start to say, well, if an AI chatbot's going to put out nonsense like this, should we be careful with how we use it personally? I mean, what would you say about the whole thing?
Well, always buyer beware, or if you're using it for free, you are the product if you're using it for free.
Yeah.
I think right now that there's a huge runway for AI, and you look at BBAI, which is a company that basically does everything from the facial scanning for TSA to designing submarines and ships for the Navy using AI. I think many of the really sophisticated uses of it, even the voice recognition stuff with SoundHound, people would have, if I threw out SoundHound 6 or 8 months ago, would have said AI stock? Yeah, because if you can do voice recognition really fast, that's something that's very valuable. And it's not just voices, of course, it's singing, it's songs, it's background noises and things like that. I think AI, it's only as good, of course, as the folks that programmed it. I suspect that anti-Semitic stuff that was coming out of X and Grok was probably something that somebody sort of stuck in there.
They took out some of it. They allowed
on its own
a little bunch of stuff that's being posted eventually, basically to get on there, I think is what happened. But yeah, so they got to correct that because it could be an issue. Thank you, John, as always. Always good to see you. John Najarian.